Maxwell, the quiet genius who changed R&B forever. Before the streams, before TikTok virality, before R&B became robotic, there was a man named Maxwell who didn't need to shout to be heard. He whispered, he seduced, he disappeared, and somehow he rewrote the rules of modern soul without even chasing the spotlight. This is the story of Gerald Maxwell Rivera, known simply as Maxwell, an enigmatic figure who launched a quiet revolution in black music and then vanished, only to return on his own time in his own way. And this is more than just a singer story. This is a meditation on the beauty of silence and the power of sound. Maxwell was born May 23, 1973 in Brooklyn, New York, to a devoutly religious family. His mother was from Honduras and his father was from Puerto Rico, a biracial Afro-Latino identity that shaped his musical sensibilities early on. His father died in a tragic plane crash when Maxwell was just 3 years old. A loss that left an emotional imprint and created a lifelong pattern of retreat, reflection, and reemergence. As a child, he was introverted, reserved. Church played a huge role in his early exposure to music, gospel, hymns, harmony, emotion. But it wasn't until his teenage years, alone in his Brooklyn apartment, experimenting with the Casio keyboard, that the sound of Maxwell began to form. He wasn't classically trained, he wasn't groomed by the industry, he was, in every sense, self-made. In the early 90s were a chaotic time in R&B. New Jack Swing was fading, hip-hop was taking over. The space for smooth, emotionally intelligent male vocalists had nearly vanished. Enter Maxwell. In 1994, after performing in New York lounges and handing out demo tapes, Maxwell caught the attention of Columbia Records. What he brought to the table wasn't loud, wasn't flashy, it was introspective, romantic, a nod to Marvin Gaye, Prince, and Sade. He began to call it urban hang suite music, intended to be played during late nights and long conversations. In 1996, he released Maxwell's Urban Hang Suite. It was an instant cult classic, but not right away. Radio didn't know where to place him. He didn't fit into the mold. The album sat in quiet limbo for nearly a year until Ascension, Don't Ever Wander finally broke through. Then the floodgates opened. Maxwell wasn't just part of a movement, he defined it. Alongside D'Angelo and Erykah Badu, he birthed what would be called neo-soul. What made Maxwell different wasn't just his falsetto, it was his intent. Where others sang about sex, Maxwell sang about connection. Where others flexed, he exhaled. Songs like Whenever, Wherever, Whatever, and Till the Cops Come Knockin' weren't just ballads, they were prayers. He brought vulnerability back to R&B. In a culture pushing toxic masculinity, Maxwell made longing cool again. He dressed like a poet, moved like a jazz musician, sang like he was writing in his journal. And live, Maxwell was something else entirely. His performances became the stuff of legend, sweaty, raw, theatrical, without being overproduced. He'd cry on stage, strip down layers, physically and emotionally. Fans didn't just attend his shows, they witnessed them. His MTV Unplugged session in 1997 cemented his growing legend. Covering Kate Bush's This Woman's Work introduced his emotional depth to a wider audience and became one of the most beloved songs. But just as the world started shouting his name, Maxwell stepped away. Following his 1999 album Embrya, Maxwell all but vanished from the public eye. No interviews, no albums, no explanations. For 8 years, fans were left wondering, where did Maxwell go? Theories swirled. Label disputes, perfectionism, heartbreak, depression. The truth? Maxwell was simply living. He didn't want to be a product. He didn't want to chase hits or chase charts. He wanted to grow spiritually, musically, personally. And when he returned, he brought with him a masterpiece. In 2009, Maxwell re-emerged with Black Summer's Night, the first in a proposed trilogy. It was worth the wait. The album was sleek, grown, lush. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and won him 2 Grammy Awards. Pretty Wings was a soaring, tragic ode to letting go, and then he vanished again for another 7 years. Fans waited into 2016. Then the second part, Black Summer's Night, was finally released. This time, more political undertones crept in. Songs like Lake by the Ocean retained his romantic soul, but deeper pain was present. As of 2025, the final installment of the trilogy has still not been released, but Maxwell doesn't rush genius, and that's part of his charm. He refuses to be dictated by the clock. Maxwell has never been a celebrity. He's never had scandals. He doesn't overshare. He doesn't beg for attention. In the era of overexposure, Maxwell has weaponized privacy. He is one of the last artists whose name still carries mystery. And in that mystery lies power. His influence echoes through artists like Miguel, Frank Ocean, The Weeknd, and Daniel Caesar. But none quite are Maxwell. He is singular. Today, Maxwell continues to tour, occasionally drops singles and tease the final album in his trilogy. But he's active but elusive, present but untouchable, a poet still writing his verses in the shadows. He isn't trying to win the algorithm, he's trying to win eternity. In a world of fast fame and quicker fallouts, Maxwell chose a different rhythm. He showed us that silence can be sexy, that patience can be powerful, and that some voices don't just sing, they soothe. If Maxwell's story moved you, if it reminded you of what R&B used to be, and what it could be again, tap that like button and keep his legacy alive. Comment below with your favorite Maxwell track, or the memory tied to it. Share this video with someone who still believes music is supposed to feel something. And don't forget to ring the bell, because some stories, just like Maxwell's music, are worth waiting for.